Hey Glendale Church family, do you remember when you first learned how to type? Typing on the keyboard. I remember when I was younger, I was super obsessed with typing and trying to improve my words per minute. I remember many times in elementary school especially, instead of going to recess outside with my friends, I was given the option to stay in the computer lab and to practice my typing. Now, I don't know how they do it nowadays, but back when I was learning, we would follow a program and some of the exercises were really odd. For example, you would type things like FFFF space DDDD space SSSS space AAAA, and it would be this weird variation and repetition that you would do over and over and over again. And this would go on for multiple lessons, 30-40 minute lessons. And eventually, once you learn that, you would have to put this orange keyboard cover over your keys so that you couldn't see what you were typing. And at first, it didn't really make much sense. It really felt like a waste of time. But as time progressed, I realized that all these little things, these beginning steps of learning to type, would eventually help me over time become a more better, faster, and efficient typer. But I had to begin with little in order to do bigger. Today's keyword to remember is little. In Luke 16:10-12, Jesus shares a very interesting few lines on the idea of being faithful in little. It says, "One who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much, and one who is dishonest in very little is also dishonest in much. If then you have not been faithful in the unrighteous wealth, who will entrust you to true riches? And if you have not been faithful in that which is another's, who will give you that which is your own?" You see, the whole idea that Jesus is trying to convey here is that there is a correlation between your faithfulness in the little things and your faithfulness in bigger things. If you can't do well with something small, what makes you think you can do well with something big? In our spiritual lives, we often want God to give us grand and big tasks. We want to do things that are extraordinary or meaningful. Think about missions. When we think about going on a mission trip, we think about going to that third world country, going to a faraway land. But rarely do we think about the people in our own church or even in our neighborhoods. You see, if we can't be faithful in the small things, like our neighborhood or people who see us every single day, what makes us think we can go do greater and grander things? Maybe there's something small in your life that God wants you to be faithful to. Maybe it's caring for a neighbor or family friend. Maybe it's someone at church, or maybe a friend at school. Whatever it may be, let's learn to be faithful in the little things first.